Hey, it's Martin Varrand from Motocross Advice, and today I'm back with a new video where I want to teach you 5 top tips how to survive in the sandy corners, sandy berms, and what are the specific techniques that help you to be fast on those. So stay tuned. For every new rider on a sand track, you will really fast realize that all the techniques, braking, accelerating, everything is very different on a sand track. In order to take your dirt bike where you want to take it, it's not enough for the same techniques that you put into practice on the hardpack terrain. So in order to be fast in the soft track, you need specific techniques, specific body positions, specific braking and acceleration drills, and in this video I want to cover those. How to learn to take control over your dirt bike on the sand tracks, what changes to the techniques you need to make in order to take control over your dirt bike on the sand tracks and take back the confidence. In sand tracks, it's all about 3 things: being fast, being smooth, being consistent. The first tip is preparation and line selection. In sand track, one of the most important things is looking ahead. Know where to start braking, know where to start sitting down, know where to start accelerating. It's all about giving your brain more time to take those decisions, because if you're late in a sand track, sand doesn't forgive you. So that's why you need to be prepared. Also, you need to get off brakes early. Locking up back wheel in the first part of the corner is a big mistake. This ruins your mid-corner speed, smoothness, and you will lose your balance. Get off the brakes early and have good rolling speed throughout the corner. You need to finish braking at least 10 feet before the corner. Brake drags wheel into the sand, which you don't want to have. In sand track, it's all about remaining fluid and retaining your momentum. The second tip is braking. Sand is a brake itself. You want to get braking done as soon as possible. That way you do not need to adjust anything when you're in the corner. You want to stand on the bike a little more back to keep your front end light. In sand, you don't want to brake nor let throttle off aggressively, rather progressively, because you do not want the weight to go in front quickly. In sand track, it's all about going into corner. Slower is better in order to give yourself time to prepare. Time to sit down early, time to put your body in the right position and start accelerating early. So it's really, if you are late with your braking and you're going into sand corner too fast, you will lose time. First part of the corner may feel a little slow, but if you have got the bike's weight low and settled and balanced, you can then use the throttle to power progressively throughout the entire turn. Plus, when you are on the gas, it's easier to control your line and the lean angle of the bike. Third tip is body position. Body position obviously is super important, and on the sand tracks you need to do some adjustments to your body position. One thing is you don't want to be too in front. You don't want to have too much weight on the front wheel, because then the sand drags the front wheel too into it and you can have a crash. The other thing is that you don't want to have the body too way back. There are 2 reasons. One of the reasons is that you don't want to have your hands straight, because that way you lose the ability to steer the bike properly and you lose the proper body position. You want to have your hands still, elbows and the curve in here. The second reason is that in the sand track you don't want the front front end be too light in the corner, because otherwise your tire starts to find new lines and taking decisions which line to go. You want to have some weight on the front tire in order for it to keep being on the same line. Also, it's important to make sure that your inside leg remains close to the fork leg. First, this means your knee is still squeezed in the bike reasonably hard. Plus, it will stop your boot from getting caught on the ground and pulled behind you, which will totally mess your turn up. Keeping your toe pointed and knee slightly bent will also prevent your boots getting snagged. It's also important that your upper body remains central on the bike during the entry and mid-turn, so you can lean forward or back on the seat throughout the corner to keep your chassis balanced. And you need to lean with the bike to some extent rather than waiting on the outside peg as you would in the hardpack to get the tires to bite. Also, there is this question, sitting versus standing. Obviously, if you're going into corner and you have some braking pumps, you need to stand up in order to have control. But if you are talking about sandy berms, sandy lines, sandy ruts, you want to sit down because you want to have the weight as low as possible in order to have the control over bike, in order to have the bike balanced and under your control. The fourth tip is throttle control. The general rule in sandy corners is that you need to start early with the throttle and be smooth with the throttle, carry smooth throttle throughout the corner. You don't want to be aggressive, ram on the throttle. You want to be smooth, build up the throttle progressively throughout the corner, and starting early is key. So in sand corners, the general rule is to carry the momentum, to always have some throttle on for your rear wheel to carry you forward, because the less speed you have, the less balanced you are on the sand. But if you are faster, if you are smooth throttle, then you carry this balance throughout the sand corner. So obviously you have heard that throttle in sand is your best friend, but it's misconception that you have to hit hard throttle in the sand. What I do and what I recommend also you to do is to have right gear going into the turn. In sand track, I try to be on the highest gear possible in order for it to carry me through the sand corner all the time. And if you see me riding, I always have 2 fingers on the clutch in order for it to help me get the RPMs higher throughout the corner if I need it. But you want to have the higher gear, because if you are too low gear and you're already high RPMs in the mid corner, imagine when you go out of the corner and you start accelerating, your engine just doesn't have the power. And if you have the accelerating pumps out of the corner, you need to stand up. It's really hard to change gear up, and you are just losing speed, you're losing the momentum, and you're losing the fluidity. So remember, you want to have higher gear from the start of the corner. Even if the RPMs are too low, you can help a little bit with the clutch, but remember, with clutch you still need to remain the fluidity, you need to remain the momentum. So in the sandy corners, have higher gear, start accelerating sooner, and carry this momentum through the corner, build up throttle progressively. And the fifth and the final tip is line choice. The fastest way through a sandy corner is usually by flowing around the outside line, which, when you think about it, means you are placing a lot of faith in that 30 centimeter high berm holding up. So to minimize the risk of your front wheel blowing through it, you need to focus on placing your wheels at the base of the berm, when it's firmer rather than up to the fluffy sand of the berm itself. So remember, don't go really up high to the berm with your front tire, because it's really easy to ride the front tire into the berm and you will just crash. Always try to aim the lower part of the berm, which is firmer, which you know that you can get the support that you want. Also, to say thank you for watching and staying in this video for that long, I want to give you some really common mistakes riders are doing in the sand track. The first really common mistake is the lack of preparation. Riders just don't give enough time for themselves to prepare for the sandy corner. As I said in the beginning, you need to look ahead. You need to give your brain enough time to process, to know when to start braking, to know when to sit down, when to start accelerating, which line you want to take. So remember, always look ahead when you're approaching the sandy corner really soon and take the decision faster. The second really common mistake is riders do not ride tall enough gear. As I mentioned, in sand track, if you're on a low gear and you have high RPMs, you don't move forward, you just your rear wheel dragging it in, digging it into the sand, but you don't move forward. Instead of that, ride one gear higher. In order to have this fluidity, in order to have the right RPM levels, and in order to have enough power in your dirt bike to carry you through. And the third really common mistake in sand tracks is to not have the fluidity. I can't stress it enough that sand tracks don't forgive you as hard pack tracks do. If you're late with something, if you do some mistake, it's not that easy to fix it as it is in the hard pack track. So in order to have fluidity, you need to take decisions sooner, you need to have fluidity, and you need to take all the techniques, all the decisions in advance. Techniques, fluidity, that comes first in the sand track. Then you're starting to add speed. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, then make sure you're subscribed, because every week I'm coming out with new videos giving tips about dirt bike riding and everything around motocross. I'm really happy that you watched so far, and I want to ask you, if you want to learn motocross in a serious way together with me, then you have the chance. I have opened absolutely new way of learning motocross that no one in today's industry is not doing it in a way. I have opened an online course where I have series of videos that take you through the motocross, the techniques, and build up your speed, your confidence in a really correct order. So forget about watching this video here, watching this video here, your friend said something how to take this turn, this guy said something how to take this jump. You have one place where you have all the information together, and you can start learning motocross in the right order in order to build the foundation, in order to start building up speed as well. So if you want to take motocross seriously, start learning it, then you have the opportunity. Check out the link in the YouTube description, and I will have a lot of information there what this course is about, how you can opt in, and I really hope that we can start learning motocross together. Thank you for watching today, and see you next week.